Project Runway, Bob's Burgers, Metalocalypse, The Venture Brothers,
IT Crowd.
The
What are you doing? You're just
The Office.
naming shows that we like?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we do like a lot of them.
Won't steer you wrong with any of them.
What'd you say?
I said we won't steer you wrong with any of them.
But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Because I've had a bad day. My mic that I use for podcasting broke. My audio editing software isn't working. It has been terrible. And I thought, you know what brings me a lot of joy? Judging. So I thought we could discuss a show that we watch, what we're watching, but that we have a little bit of snark for. Because we kind of roll our eyes through the show. Which is Ink Master. So I don't know what season they're on right now. We've watched, I think, virtually every season. We've never recapped it because we don't have tattoos. We don't know a lot about the tattoo experience. It's not really our area of expertise.
I'll just put it like this: where Dave Navarro, 1990s rock god, goes from rock god to babushka.
He's always got like little sweaters and long shawls, and we're always like, what's he wearing for a heavy duty like hardcore guy? So if you aren't familiar with Ink Master, we're just going to go ahead and explain it to you, which is it is basically like Project Runway or Top Chef.
But the first question they asked to get on the show is, are you going to take this way too seriously?
Are you going to think that you are on Survivor? Are you going to try to make pacts with people? Are you going to absolutely throw down in a split second? You are ready to scream and yell, cry, perhaps? Does your ego depend on every little thing that happens to you? Are you completely not objective about your work? It is such a great. They take everything so seriously. So the basic format of the show is, now they're doing all this weird team stuff, but the basic format is they get people on, they have a kind of they don't call it a mini challenge. I don't know what flash challenge. Okay. They call it the flash challenge, and it's usually art-ish, but it's always in like some weird genre, like we're gonna give you gunpowder and then you set it on fire and we're gonna be judging you on precision or something like that. It's always like, here's dice, and we're going to give you 12,000 of them, and you're going to have to make a picture that talks about the single most defining person in your life, or an interpretive dance of what courage means to you. Okay, maybe not the last one, but look at how big my hand looks. I think we got that camera too close. Anyway, sorry, I am. Things have been, it's been a rough day. But the idea is they do these art challenges, and it's always like, we're gonna use buttons and you're gonna suspend them from the ceiling. And they're always like, buttons? I've never worked on buttons. And I kind of wish they just did a drawing challenge.
Or you're gonna tattoo an eyelid or a lip, because they've done those in flash challenges too.
And those are more interesting to me. Although, anyway, they're more interesting to me because they're tattooing, and they're supposed to be doing tattooing. And then they have their main challenge. And the big thing about the flash challenge is that you get to do skull picks. What that means is if they have 12 people, they have 12 human canvases is what they call them, which is kind of disgusting now that I think of it. And they, do you want the dog in?
No.
Okay. So they have the human canvases, and they will, so if they say today is geometric today, and we're going to be looking at precision, then everybody gets up there and they're like, I want to have 57 interlocking parallelograms on my ribs. And then someone else says, I want a square on my upper arm. That kind of thing. And then whoever wins gets to hand out the skull picks. And the idea is you take, the way that they present it is you take the easy ones for yourself.
They print a name on the bottom of the skull.
They hand them to each individual person, and then the individual person is always like, that's the guy with the 57 parallelograms. Who do they give it to? And then he flips it over, and the guy's like, hey man, I'll take care of you. Then he's like, I'm going to kill so-and-so. And it's ridiculous because the skull picks don't matter. I mean, they matter, but it's like someone might say, I'm going to get this incredibly difficult design on my ribs. And then when the person talks to them, they say, are you really set in that? They're like, well, I could get that, or basically anything that you want to do, and I'm willing to put it anywhere in my body.
And black and white instead of color.
Yeah, I'm willing to do whatever you want. So sometimes the skull picks end up being, and sometimes they do actually want too much. They have a 6-hour tattoo and they want 12 hours worth of work. The artist usually, kind of depending on their ability, can talk them into saying, hey, I can't do that. So I can do a crappy job, or we can scale back or move it or make it smaller or change it or something. And then sometimes the easy skull picks, you get in there and the person can't sit still or has no open skin, or you know what I mean. So to me, the whole idea is that you're supposed to screw over the people you don't like with these skull picks, but they don't actually. I've watched the show for a lot of seasons.
But you're on teams.
Well, but half of the time it ends up backfiring. They give a really hard design to someone and the person can move it easily. Or they give a hard design and the person does an okay job and the judges are so impressed because they had a hard design. Sometimes the people who get an easy design flub it up and they go home because they felt they had an easy design.
And just when you start liking someone's work, they smoke pot and get kicked off the show.
Oh, that was one specific episode.
The best artist on it ever.
What was his name? Justin? Jeffrey? Jason?
I really don't know, but I'd let him tattoo me.
Anyway, but it's just always, what's really funny is they've all got this, and this is, I don't know how much this is in the tattoo industry, considering that the local tattoo here, we had this week, we found out that one of the local tattoo artists had to be shut down because we refused to do anything during quarantine because tattoos are super, you know what I mean, like this isn't, if there's a deadly pandemic going around.
I feel bad for the small business owner.
Of course, but this guy was nuts long before that.
He was very nuts.
And then he got into a fight on his Facebook page with a woman calling her a cop. Was that not?
Yeah. I just.
That's all I know. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna have a mental breakdown, probably shouldn't have it on your public Facebook page.
He's on next year's Ink Master.
Well, that's a joke. Anyway, but they well, what's funny is they're all supposed to be super hardcore, but most of them get crazy offended by every little thing. You gave me that bad skull pick today, so I'm gonna burn your house down. Kind of level of intensity, and they have and a part of this is casting. So what I was to say is that the tattoo community, I mean, I know people who have tattoos and not all of them are nuts. Some of them are.
The sky's blue.
Yeah, but not all of them are. But on the show, probably through casting, they get people who are on the edge of exploding. Now, I always keep my eyes on the people who just manage to just fly underneath the radar and just do good work. They don't get a lot of screen time.
Because they're boring.
Yeah, but you know what I want? Do you know what I don't want in a tattoo? A very exciting artist. Because I'm not going to wear the very exciting artist on my arm. I'm going to wear their tattoo. And I would rather have... And I would say that it's very common that they slide into the finale. These kind of low-key personalities. And a lot of times you do get to know them. They're just not quite as... Because they're not constantly screaming and pounding their chest, sometimes literally. They don't know on the show as much. But they have really great artistic design and stuff like that. So I would say if you are looking for housewife level drama,
true,
but with tattooed mostly men, there are quite a few women, and the women tend to have a real chip on their shoulder. I don't know if that's justified. Like I said, I don't know much about the tattoo industry, so I can't say one way or another is whether it's like an industry that's so incredibly sexist that it brings this out, or whether that's just a casting decision or some variation in between.
And also has 2 tattoo artist judges and 1 tattooed babushka.
And and then the other thing that they let them do is they take 3 people into the bottom, and it used to be the jury of peers, I think, is now how they do it. They've kind of changed it over the seasons. Now it's the jury of peers, or it's the winning tattoo or whatever gets to put someone on the bottom. Which they always have these great strategies for how they're going to do it. But the judges get to pick the other 2 people. And very rarely, like when you go into judging...
Rarely?
What?
They know who they're going to send home.
Right. But I'm saying I think like every once in a while they try to we'll put a top person in to force someone else. And it almost always backfires because Like they say, oh, we think this our buddy is the third worst. So if we put in someone higher up, then they'll pick the bottom two. And I think the judges kind of resent that, and they go, oh, you think you're going to save so and so, because they're all like being filmed, so the judges know. But it's kind of it's always a funny competition because they'll pick these weird things like we're going to do biomech Polish twist, and they're like, what is that? You know, we're all going to do griffins. And they're like, what's a griffin? First of all, minus 10 points to Hufflepuff. Anyway, so Ink Master, they're actually coming up on the finale, but I don't even know. I'm sure you can stream it somewhere and it's got to be playing. So that is what we're watching. We're coming up on the finale.
I recommend all the shows we listed at the beginning over this.
It's fun. Okay, we'll see you later.